I got back from watching Supergirl and I had a blast. That was so much fun. And if you're like me at all, then you also had a blast watching Supergirl. And a common question, every time there's a superhero movie that releases, hey, do you have any cool Supergirl comic book recommendations? Yes, I do! So here are my top 5 books that you should read after watching Supergirl. Of course, it would be really silly to start this list and not talk about Woman of Tomorrow. Woman of Tomorrow is the book that the movie was very heavily based on. And, you know, it's pretty close to what the movie had. If you read Woman of Tomorrow, it's kind of like you're reading an expanded version of the movie. They go to a few more planets, they build up Krem, the villain, a little bit more, and the ending is a little bit different than the movie was. I did a fun Lego short about that. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. But this is an insanely popular book. This book showed up in 2023, if I remember correctly, and just completely took the world by storm. It just hit the right chord for a lot of people. It's not every day that a comic book gets big enough to where a live-action movie has to look at it and acknowledge it that heavily. Woman of Tomorrow. If you like the movie, you're going to probably like this. It's a little bit more fantastical than the movie. Like I said, it's a little bit longer, but it's a pretty good start point for reading Supergirl if you enjoyed the movie. So check that out. It's not hard to find. My second recommendation is to check out Welcome to Midvale, which is the new Supergirl series starting from 2025. In this particular story, Supergirl comes back to Earth. She goes back to the town of Midvale, and she just does Supergirl stuff. And she picks up a really interesting supporting cast of characters that all help flesh out the book. Crypto is there. It's a fun time. I actually really enjoyed this series as it's been coming out. It also addresses Woman of Tomorrow as happening in canon, which basically means it accepts the movie as canon too. So like, you can read this second, or you can hop into it after having watched the movie, or you can hop into it completely blind. It's a great starting point. It's a ton of fun. This book has been great. I really enjoy it. I think you will too. So I love this book. It is so good, but it does take a second to really adequately explain everything that's going on with it. During the mid-'80s, DC had some internal publishing rules that essentially meant that the classic Kara Zor-El Supergirl, she couldn't appear in comic books. It was a lot. But in the meantime, while they were waiting for that, we had a different character entirely named Linda, who took up the mantle of Supergirl. And this story right here, Many Happy Returns, is about the final days of Linda being Supergirl and her meeting the classical Silver Age Kara Zor-El. It's really good and has a really interesting message about the responsibility of being Supergirl, of what that does to you, what that does to your life. And it's just, oh man. Before Woman of Tomorrow, this was indisputably the best Supergirl book you could pick up. And I still think it is the best that you can get. I love this book. If you want to read something really cool about being the nature of being Supergirl, I don't know if you can get better than Many Happy Returns. We've talked about the last story of Supergirl, of Linda. Let's talk about the first story of the new Kara Zor-El. It's hidden within the Superman Batman series, which Superman Batman, fun, something to keep in mind here. It's kind of secretly a Supergirl book. It does a really good job of enhancing that character, showing off what makes her so cool. Yeah, Superman Batman is a good book to read if you're a Supergirl fan. But also, in the storyline called Apocalypse, we get introduced to the new Kara Zor-El, and we get to see her entrance into the world through the eyes of Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. All three of them have a different idea of what to do with this magical girl that just showed up out of nowhere. Superman has his ideas, Batman has his ideas, Wonder Woman has her thoughts on the whole thing. And in the middle of it, this poor girl is just getting stretched in all kinds of different directions, trying to figure out what her choice is supposed to be in all of this. It's really good. It's been very popular for a very long time, got turned into an animated series, and it leads directly into a bunch of collected stories that have been collected recently called The Girl of Steel. Look up Supergirl Volume 1, The Girl of Steel. It looks like this. It continues the story. It's really, really interesting, really good. Cool representation of a Kara Zor-El who's a lot edgier than she used to be, is a lot more rebellious than she used to be, very much like how we see her in the movie and at the beginning of Woman of Tomorrow. It's very, very good. If you like that whole change of character from angsty, rebellious person who's just angry at everything to someone who learns to overcome and cope and become a better person who is less controlled by her anger, great starting point. It captures a lot of the themes of the movies very, very well. All right, the last one I have on the list is a little bit unconventional. I'm really interested to see what the comments are going to say about this one. Oh, holy cow. But I want to recommend, for you Supergirl fans, Superman Hell on Earth. This is an interesting book. It's a really, really cool story that had a lot of ramifications for several years in the Superman, Action Comics, Supergirl, and Superboy books for quite a long time. Basically, this guy named Hell shows up. He's claiming that he's from Krypton, and his whole goal is to resurrect Krypton, bring it back from the dead, but in the process, he's going to end up destroying the Earth and everyone along with it. And so you have Superman who's like, no, we can't destroy the Earth. That's not okay. On the long list of things we're allowed to do, destroying the Earth is not one of them. And you have Superboy who's backing up Superman, which, for you Young Justice fans, you want to see Superman and Superboy actually cooperate and work together and, like, respect each other? Here it is. But then Supergirl's story in this is really, really interesting, where she wants Krypton to come back, and she's getting kind of bought in with the bad guys' rhetoric about bringing back Krypton and bringing back the glory of Krypton against the disaster that Earth is sometimes. And it's like very, very, very cool. The Supergirl has this ongoing struggle with who is she supposed to be now that her planet is gone, now that her people are gone. And so seeing that struggle in such a real way where it actually pits her against the good guys, pits her against the Justice League, pits her against her cousin, it's really, really interesting to see. And it gives her a really deep and dynamic story that I think is really worth reading, especially if you love Supergirl. So hey, that's what I got for you guys today. 5 books that I think, if you're a fan of the Supergirl movie, or you want to learn more about Supergirl, these are great places to start. Go ahead and put your ideas in the comments below. Let's help each other out. And until next time, thank you for joining me. Have a great day, and remember to always be your best self. Hey everybody, I'm glad that you watched the video all the way to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and give me a like, and if you want to see more comic book stuff, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Let's keep this going.